What's going on, world? Welcome to the WebBuzz podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Tiberio. Before I even introduce who I'm joined with, you guys all know him anyway. He's been around every single week on this show. However, today's special. The Google Nader himself is bringing us the topic straight, fresh out of the shower.
It just came to me, man.
It did. I get it. I totally get it, because some of my best ideas sometimes come when, well, I've told this at some of the other events. Sometimes I get some of my most memorable inspiration while on the toilet. So you happen to have a moment in the shower. And guess what, folks? You are going to learn something really cool today, and you'll never forget it, because you'll be thinking to yourself, Roger brought this to us while he was showering.
Anyway, it didn't leave my mind. It was just there. As I was going, the ideas kept coming. So it is what it is.
Anyway, welcome Google Nader, aka Roger Valdez. We're gonna swap that. We're gonna get you legally named Google Nader.
What's up, man? Everything is great out here, man. We're actually, it's getting to be a short timer out here where we're at in what we call Paradise, Guam, here on the island. It's another sunny day, but we are getting down to the point where we're getting ready and packing up, and here very shortly, in about a month, actually a little over a month, we will be heading back to the States, be heading to Maryland. So super excited about that. But
I have not heard that term, and you just gave me like a 10-year flashback. Short timer. That takes me way back to the days when I was getting out of the Marine Corps. Ooh, man. Got to be careful there. Giving me too many flashbacks. Anyway, man, I'm excited that you are a short timer, and that I know you're not super excited. You kind of are. There's this mixed emotion. I get it.
Mixed emotion. I would say that it's Guam has grown on me, and you know me pretty well. It's like I love the water, I love diving, and it has been the sport out here that I've embraced. And going to Maryland, it's gonna be cold, man. It's gonna be cold down there.
That's the side I was looking at. It's like island, Guam, beautiful blue water, sun, all this all the time, or Maryland. No offense to our Maryland clients. We love you guys to death. I'm glad you live there and not me. And I'm glad Roger has to go there, not me. So, however, that kind of leads into something here today. But go ahead. I can tell you're about to say something, but go ahead.
No, it is. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce, because that's exactly why probably I was thinking about it. Because I'm not only dealing with the business, right, that we do every day. This is our day in, day out type of operation. But I'm also thinking about, as an entrepreneur, getting ready to do a big move, going to be disconnected, right? Need help. There's a lot of different things to do, and prepping for that. So I'll pass it on to you. I think we got a good segue into what we're about to talk about, but it has to do. A lot of us go through that. There's some times that we just need help.
Absolutely. So I get it. You're sitting there going, okay, what the heck are these two going to talk about today that was so incredible, so amazing? Roger thought about it in the shower. It has to do with this moving, and it comes down to a lot of businesses. We all deal with this, right? In Roger's case, he's going to be transitioning. He's going to be out of pocket really for a little while. So things aren't going to be normal. Our business is evolving. Things are happening. Things are moving really quick and rapid. We hear it from our clients all the time. I just don't have time to focus on this or focus on that. And that's why we decided today we're going to talk a little bit deeper here into what it really means to outsource, and what areas as a business in a digital technology era, right? Outsourcing, thanks to digital, the web type services, we have that ability a little bit more easily accessible, I guess I'll say it, than maybe we did 4, 5, 6, even 10 years ago in this space. So we're going to dive a little bit in here. I know Roger's got a couple key areas that's been on his mind. I know I've got a couple areas that are kind of more the no-brainers, but also the ones that I think are the most overlooked or under focused on, kind of put to the back burner because cost or price, or is it really needed at the moment on it? So I'm going to kick it back to you, Roger, to kick us off with the first one that you've got. If you guys are joining live, you want to ask us about a specific area or something that we say pops into your mind, don't hesitate. Throw it down in the comments. We'll check it out. We'll get that answered.
Absolutely. So the one I'm going to start with, we have in no particular order, right? This is all depending on what your business needs. So don't think we're going down the line. I'm going to start with an area that kind of affects my side of the business with Shawn and I, how we do business and what I take care of and what's going on. But that starts with just managing kind of customer service, right? Making sure that our clients are taken care of, because we have 100+ clients that we service. They all have websites with us and they want to make edits. One of the services that we do is we offer that, hey, we recommend that you don't touch your website, send it into support and let us take care of it, right? That's one of the things that sets us apart in the industry. Well, with that, you need a team. And if we don't have a set office, we're virtual. That's what we kind of preach, that it's possible and all this, then you better have a team behind you, right, to support all that. Well, I usually overlook a lot of that stuff. I'm kind of the managing person that's overlooking, making sure everything's going fine. But with time, I kind of noticed that, hey, I'm going to have times where I need to travel. I'm going to have times where I get sick. I'm going to have times where I just don't have time, right? I have too many meetings. So I'm really happy that Shawn and I kind of jumped on this bandwagon of thinking about how we're going to find a solution for this and solve for this pain point. And in the last year and a half, we've been really building our team, and we've built really good relationships with some of our VAs that we've actually brought them in as a little more longer term. Now, they are not full, that we call them, they're not full employees legally, right, in paperwork, but they are full team members, right? And that can be a VA, right? That can be something that's outsourced, and that's fine. And that's what we've been able to do. So one of the things that I want to bring up is how you're going to handle, if you're running a business, if you're offering customer service and you're the one doing it, you're the one doing the sales, you're the one doing business development, you're the one doing customer service, everything above, then sometimes you might be doing one of them really well, but a lot of times the customer service is sometimes the one that gets left behind, is the one I wanted to bring up first, because no matter how hard you go out there and you build your client base, if you provide a bad service, they're not going to come back and they're not going to refer you to other people. So that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up and really kind of make you guys kind of understand what we've been through and what we've built. Now we have an entire team that I can actually travel in August when we start our transition. I can be out of pocket for a week, 2 weeks, and just touch base with my main person, and that main person will touch base with the rest of the team. And if there's anything major, then I can kind of chime in. But even at that, our team has now been very versed in what we do, our processes. That's the other thing. Processes were huge. I'm going to be honest with you guys that at the beginning, we didn't have every process set. We would hire someone that would come on board, and we're like, all right, what skills do you have, right? It's like, boom, we need a developer. You need HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You're a programmer. You have 10 years experience. You're key. You're going to work out. We put them in, but yet nothing happens. And you wonder why. It's like, wait a minute, did that guy no good? Well, it had nothing to do with the person that we hired, right? With the VA, it had to do with our processes. We didn't clearly convey to that person what their responsibilities were going to be. So in the last year and a half, what we've been doing is really creating documentation and processes, right? So for a very specific task, there is a process. So that way now we have everything is kind of documented. So when someone comes in new, it's literally, they know exactly what they're going to do. And for us, we can measure, right? We can measure exactly if that person's the right fit or not. And now we got it down to almost the science where we can actually tell if this person's going to fit in the first 3 days. In the first 3 days, we can bring them in, get them to go through a certain type of process. And I can already see, all right, this person, they get it, they don't get it. Maybe it wasn't the skill set that there's, that I was expecting. So we can go ahead and move on, right? Because it is very important. You have to be careful that you don't hold on to somebody too long. That's not going to work out, because it's money. Every day you're paying money out, right? So that's been one of the big things. And within that realm of customer service for us, we also do web development, right? So being able to pretty much strengthen up our development team. I'm a developer myself. I'm kind of a merge of development, SEO, and what happens is I get involved in a lot. So I actually no longer really. I do still code, but not a whole lot. We actually have an entire team that we built out in the last year and a half to help us do that. And if I wouldn't have done that, if Shawn and I wouldn't have done that, I would have been stuck in the trenches still coding, right? Building all these websites and not being able to help us build the business. And that's what I see a lot of our clients. They're all entrepreneurs, right? Starting their businesses. Some of them are very, very seasoned, but they're the ones still in the trenches working. And if they don't, that's what we try to kind of convey to them, try to show them what we've done. And if they don't get out, they're always going to do really good, but with the small amount of people or small amount of client base, right? And you're never going to grow. You wonder why you don't grow, but yet your product is prime time. So you got to learn how to pretty much clone yourself in a way, right? And we understand it takes time. It's not easy. Trust me.
No.
I had a hard time letting go. Shawn knows this. I had a hard time letting go.
I think
go ahead, Shawn.
I think he's still trying to let go of it all the way. But you bring up a really good point there. Obviously, on the customer service side, I'm going to add a piece of that. Why is that on Roger's plate? And then why was it more outsourced than anything? Well, if you know me and you know Roger, you know exactly why Roger initially took it. Shawn's not the guy to be doing customer service. Not a bad thing. However, we did the piece that I want to add is immediately we kind of identified that if we were going to scale, if we were going to go big, go the direction that the vision that Roger and I had when we kicked all of this off, it couldn't be a two-man operation. We needed help, right, to get there. And that was a big piece right out of the gate. And if I don't, yes, in our business, we're servicing clients month in and month out. So there's probably a little more on the customer service end of things than, let's say, if you're, more of a product type or even another service business, but your service is kind of one and done, right? It's not a repetitive thing over and over again. You're still going to have some customer service elements. Two things, maybe a warranty, that you've extended, or a lot of our clients are real estate, right? And that I can hear a couple of them already right now. Yeah, that doesn't matter. We don't do customer service. Absolutely, you do. You've renovated a house. You've sold the house. At some point, something will pop up. Trust me, I've gone through that a number of times. Siding falls off a house that a contractor did 8 months ago. They're coming to you, right? They bought the house from your company. They're coming to you about that. So, yeah, there is some piece from that customer service side. But the other part that I want to add in here on it that you brought up that's really, really powerful. You are a developer, right? You are an SEO expert. That's why I call you the Google Nader. I don't call you that just for fun. That is something that if we were to take you out of, let's say, ownership role and put you into an operation, that's where you fit. Yet, right away, our focus was not how do we allow you to keep doing all of that and build the team elsewhere. We said, how do we get Roger out of that role? Because as an owner, as somebody who's got to be more focused on the larger picture, even though that is your background and your skill set, we've got to put a team behind it. And that is the piece that I think when we talk outsourcing and companies trying to hold on to too much, right? Especially as easy it is digitally. Every single one of the developers on Roger's side of the business, other than maybe one, I don't think you've ever met him, correct? In person.
Right.
We've only known him through Zoom.
Yep.
All right. We've only known him through digital technology, digital communication, Discord, Zoom meetings, email discussion, right?
Exactly.
Other than one, because he's been around for a long time and you happen to be, a hop, skip, and a jump flight prior to COVID away from getting over to where he was at. And you got a chance to, see him in person, meet him face to face. Same thing with a large, basically our entire team of people that we work with, I don't know them physically. I know them virtually through a Zoom call. That's what makes it so easy. And that's why I say it's a very overlooked area, because there's a lot of people like the Rogers out there who go, yeah, but that's my skill set. That's what I'm really good at. And I totally get that if that is a massive impact on the business. Take myself, for example. I'm a marketer. I'm a sales, individual. That is what I do. Market, sell, grow a business. Well, for Roger and I, we haven't outsourced that side of the business yet. Why? We've outsourced some of the tasks on it, but we haven't really outsourced a big portion of that side. Why? Because that's like the bread and butter. That's where it all comes in at. And that's my role. And that's what I'm really good at. It makes sense to stay there for now. When it stops making sense, guess what we start to look at? How do we outsource some of those? And that is actually the part that I was going to bring up, that I think is an overlooked area, because there's a lot of business owners out there that the marketing and sales side of the business is not their strong suit. And it is such a powerful piece that you need to have that dialed in like clockwork. It needs to be you got to have that like a fine oiled machine going. And if it's not your expertise and you're just kind of overlooking some of it or allowing it to skate by because I don't know if I have the money or the funds or whatever to outsource the marketing side of things, to outsource sales end of things. There are a lot of, we could probably do an entire episode just breaking down the elements of marketing and sales that could or could not be outsourced. But I would encourage you to sit down and look at, are there components of it that I can somewhat do and it makes sense for me to do, but probably need to push some of these services over. I know, Roger, you can talk a little bit about this. It's why we've built the packages that we built, because those are the components, especially on the marketing side. Those are the components that are just time consuming and not really a value add for the business owner to be doing SEO type tasks, right? These type of blogs, certain ones, yes, but maybe not every single one. So once you talk briefly on that end of things, like just on that space, like what are some easy things to outsource and why is it so easy with some of the platforms, some of the things that exist out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where a lot of people kind of struggle, because what we teach on our end, and keep in mind, guys, we're using our example from our business and stuff, but it can easily be translated. Try to kind of use your imagination, take out like what I'm talking about, plug in what you think might be a replacement for what you do, right? But for us, with our clients, I mean, we not only offer digital marketing services and products, right? Like websites, SEO, things like that. But we educate, right? And during the education process, when we're educating, we're telling people what they should be doing, right? We actually offer those services, but if they want to go out and outsource this or do it themselves, right? The DIY people do it themselves, then we give them the tools and knowledge that they need to do this. But that's where they run into some issues, right? Some of them want to do it at scale and they actually want to keep it in-house. And that's when we start talking about the outsourcing portion. So for example, on a website, I over and over and over, it's like content is very important. So that's one of the biggest factors, that we can develop a great website for you, optimized website for SEO, but it's still, in order for it to compete at a very high level, it needs content. So content writers seem to be one item from what our experience, right, that needs to be either outsourced to somebody or you need to do it yourself. We've had clients that try to do it themselves. We've done it ourselves, and right away you can create one great blog post, but it took you 2 days, 3 days. I mean, what can you have done?
2 months.
Yeah, 2 weeks, exactly. And then you start doing, it's like, what's my time worth, right? What's my time worth? That's when it starts kind of making sense, and you're like, wait a minute, this is awesome, this blog post that I wrote, but it took me X amount of time. My time is worth X, right? And then once you get to that final number, you're like, oh my goodness, I should have outsourced this and I could have done much more. I could have made more money, right? Because you could have probably marketed and brought in more clients instead of sitting there writing a blog post, right? So that's one of the areas that I've kind of looked at. There's a lot of different platforms. I mean, I'll name one just because it's very popular, like Upwork. Actually, a good one, iWriter, things like that you go, right? Now, I'll be very, very clear on these products. We used them all. At this point, I can be pretty confident I'm missing maybe a couple, but oh man, we've tried them pretty close to all of them, and internal, right? So what you end up going through in the process that I've found is, don't think that you're going to go to one of these platforms and you're going to find the A player right out of the gate. It actually takes a couple rounds, right? And it actually does take some investment on your end to try this out. And if you're looking for a blog for next week, that you better be ready to be let down a little bit, right? Because that's usually when it fails. That's when you can't find that person. So actually, you got to be proactive. Go through that process, find that particular set of writers or that one writer that you like, and then that way you can utilize them moving forward. Because yeah, maybe the tone is not right, maybe whatever it might be. And in most cases, a lot of you guys are out there trying on a budget, right? So you're looking for the best price possible. So you look at these platforms and you're like, I want to pay a penny per word, or I want to pay $5 for 1,000 words. You'll get it. You'll trust me. You'll get 1,000 words, and you'll get it'll have the title that you want, but the content does not make any sense and is horrible, right? And that can actually hurt a website's SEO and authority online, not only with Google, but with the people that are reading it, right? Your visitors, because they start looking at this and they're like, oh my God, this company has no idea what they're talking about. Their grammar is completely horrible. And you can really hurt your brand by doing that. So my recommendation is to be proactive. Go out there, do a little bit of research, try out a couple of these platforms, and then try out a couple writers, right? And then eventually you'll start finding what fits for you, someone that has that tone. We've done it. We have an entire writing team, and it did not happen overnight. It took a while, and we're still going at it, right? Because we're always kind of looking. Well, it doesn't end. So we're always looking, we're always testing, and the writing that our clients get from our team is not coming from a new person that I'm getting from one of these platforms, or someone that I interviewed and I'm getting from, just an individual that's coming on our team. They're getting it from a seasoned writer. These guys go from the back, start from the back. They do a lot of QAing of the content. That's part of my process and Shawn's process to find out if this person's a good fit. So we give them a piece of content that's already been written by one of our expert writers. They do the QA, quality assurance, right? And if they're missing stuff that Shawn and I just scan, because we already know what we're looking for, right? So we scan it and we're like, whoa, this person continues to miss stuff on these pieces of content. This person's probably not a good fit. But when you kind of check people's work, right, and they start that, then you may move them to the next level. Right in the middle. Maybe they're writing shorter pieces of content, not full on, very important pillar content for our website. Maybe they're writing short, listicles to short blog posts, right? That you can quickly check. And once again, it goes through our team. That piece of content goes through a quality assurance process through senior writers on our team. And that's where we filter out even more. Go ahead, Shawn.
That right there is why it's important to outsource this side. I mean, just listening to you talk, I know the process, and just listening to you say it, I'm getting tired.
Yeah. So, it is. Whoever says it's easy to outsource the writing is lying to you.
So what I want to drive home there is, yes, the marketing side, the sales side, these are very crucial elements, but it's also not just, yes, does Fiverr exist? Does Upwork exist? There are other, cheap platforms out there. Absolutely. Is it outsourced? Absolutely. You pay what you get for. You get what you pay for. I said that backwards. Yeah. You get what you pay for, right? That's where taking a look at a more professional agency who's already done the heavy lifting, scoured the platforms of Fiverrs and Upworks, and there's 1,000 of them out there, and found kind of the best of the best, especially per industry. I know we have this, right? We have certain writers that only write for certain industries. We have other writers that we can go to for very niche elements. And then we have more of a general writer, people that can kind of handle broader topics across the spectrum. If you're just the solo business out there trying to put all that together, that's a lot, right? There's a lot to consider, trial and error, that kind of stuff. So the other one that I want to add on this, because it kind of fits in, and I have a feeling you've got one more that kind of ties over to this as well. It's an area that you and I are actually thinking a lot about right now. It's kind of the next big need here at TRC, and that is around just basic administrative type tasks, very time consuming elements of day-to-day operation that are bogging down team members, that are bogging down processes, that are getting over. I know I got a little frustrated earlier. Roger's just waking up. He hasn't even seen it yet, but there's a nice little message in our executive chat because I got a little frustrated earlier about an overlooked task. That if we had a basic administrative kind of virtual assistant working with us, it probably wouldn't have gotten overlooked, right? And those compound. Today it's a small thing, but for time those compound. And we hear this from a lot of clients. I'm not ready to do it, or I don't want to take on that. I'll just deal with all that stuff. And this right here is where a lot of people get sucked in to just basic administrative type work, and then their business doesn't grow. Whether it's administrative stuff around, I love how you said it actually at the beginning of this. Well, I got to update my website. I got to put things to it. I got to change out this blog. I got to tweak the picture. The color's not perfect. The font's a little off. That's administrative type work, right? For a business that's trying to get a client, do another deal, create another opportunity, that they could outsource those type of elements over. So good. I know I probably got something spun in your head there on that one, or I know you got one more that you want to add.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So around there, because I mean, right now every business goes through the admin stuff, the easy stuff that you just kind of mentioned, and the list goes on, right? In regards to admin kind of things, and there are going to be some things that certain people can't touch that you need to touch, right? It's like that you need to be directly. So you need to identify that list. But I mean, just recently, just a good one that we just went through is basically everybody goes through taxes, right? Doing the accounting, certain accounting processes and things that need to be tracked for expenses and things like that. So Shawn and I are very particular about how we're running things, where everything goes, and it took a lot of our time to the point where now we're having special meetings to solve for that with the assistant, with the VA, right? Outsource, but we know we're very, very aware that not every single part of that can be outsourced. So what we're doing, we're literally taking that whole process apart and then going to create, a task of everything that we don't need to touch, and we're going to create a position. And guess what? We're going to outsource that. We're going to go ahead and hire somebody, bring them on board, train them with those exact tasks. We're going to know exactly what to expect from them. They're going to know exactly what we expect from them. And then we're going to go to work. And that should save us a ton of time. I mean, it took way too long, right? Some of the stuff that we're doing. But just with that, I mean, going a little bit back to the digital part, another thing that I can throw in there that it's a big push that we kind of push our clients to kind of look at is social media is one that also gets left behind all the time. I mean, we bring on clients and we're really pushing, get your online presence going with the website, number one, right? Get your hub of your marketing, which is the website. Everything is driven back to the website. But then you got to start promoting that. How do you promote it? Well, you got to do some social media. You got to do some offline stuff. When in most cases, social media, as important as it is, I mean, we can now honestly say that brands are being built on social media. Why aren't you being active on social media? We understand the time, the knowledge, right? Even the knowledge gap between how do I use Instagram to build my brand? How do you use Facebook? How do I go and promote my brand in Facebook groups? Things like that. Guess what? That is a perfect task for a virtual assistant that is geared and knowledgeable around that, right? That can help you. So that's another area. But to kind of end my part here, Shawn, one thing that I really wanted to kind of explain it as we talk about all these tasks. I think I heard this in a movie, but it was great. It was very well put. And I don't know if he actually said it, but it was the movie about Steve Jobs. But you're as a business owner, as a CEO, as whoever you are in your business that's on top and trying to do all this stuff, you have to play the orchestra, right? You have to be the conductor. You can't be playing the instruments. You have to go find the best person that plays each instrument. And if you can actually play that orchestra correctly, your music is going to sound beautiful, right? But if you have someone that's off, then you got to change that out. You have to be the one that identifies which one is slowing down the process, which one is ruining the process, right? That's not making everything run smooth. So, yeah. So one of the things you got to step back and you got to look at, I got to play this orchestra. What in my orchestra is not working? And you need to either find a replacement or create one. Maybe you're the one doing that, yeah, right? You're the conductor trying to play all the instruments. Well, that's not going to work. So you got to go out there and try to outsource and create your team.
Oh man, you got my. I'm looking at the time, and we talked about going a little shorter today, and there's that one thing.
There's
that
that one
one
thing.
thing that could spin off. I'm gonna save it for a whole other episode on there, but I do want to add something on the social media side. As much as it is overlooked from an outsourced side of things, right? We see a lot of brands, a lot of companies, especially the small business owner just kind of getting started. They overlook it like, I don't need it, or I'm just not going to pay anybody to do that yet. I got to get some clients happening first. Yet we already know that that is a crucial element in helping you get the client coming in. I will say this much though. You cannot, and our clients that are listening now or later on this, you even better be listening to this. You cannot outsource every aspect of your social media, because at the end of the day, the brand is you. Your company is you. People want to connect to people. They want to connect to brands that they have personal connection, personal relation to, not just the brand, but they see the person behind it as well. Right? Why do so many people love Apple? A lot of people fell in love with Steve Jobs over the years, right? Why do so many people love X brand? I bet there's a physical person connection behind it somewhere. So as the business owner, you've got to still be involved at some level in your social media. However, the basic day-to-day awareness level type content marketing that Roger and I talk about all the time, yeah, we can outsource some of that. We can get that into the hands of agencies like TRC, like other, individuals that are out there, or just a VA, just hiring a VA to handle kind of the day-to-day posting to your social accounts. That can get done. However, Roger and I can't just completely ignore TRC's social and just let our team do the whole thing. At some point, we have to do something. I got to shoot a video. He's got to be on video. It's got to be a photo of him and I somewhere. Right? We've got to be involved in it, or else people will never really connect fully on it. So, anything you want to add before we start to wrap her up?
No, I think we're good, man. That was a good one. It was packed with, hopefully that kind of drove home a couple points for our listeners, that you don't have to do it alone, and it is a financial investment in some cases, right? There is a financial investment, but you have to go back, take a step back, and calculate how much time you're spending, and then I almost guarantee you'll find a reason, and you'll be like, aha, I am actually spending way too much time, and if I were to outsource, I'd actually be making more money instead of losing money. And because most people get stuck on that financial kind of portion of it. And one more thing that I want to throw in there is that you don't have, it doesn't always have to be a paid VA. Look around your network, right? Outsource to an intern, a student, right? Look around, someone in your family, your friends, somebody's going to want to learn your process, because it doesn't always have to be an expert. It just has to be someone that has time. And there's a lot of people out there looking for experience. So I'll leave it at that. It's like, look around your network, and you'll be surprised how many people are willing to work for free. And it's not free. Don't think about it free. I always, when we bring in interns, it's like, sometimes we get that question, is it a free internship? It is not. I'm paying you with knowledge. Because when you leave this internship, you will be able to go put it on your resume and possibly get a very good job with the knowledge we're going to provide you. And that's going to be way more valuable than me paying you $5 an hour, right? So there you go.
that exact thing. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Finally got. I had the right screen open this time, so I had to throw it in because you nailed it. Literally, we just had this happen. Actually, one of our interns that was with us for quite some time, student, doing a lot of stuff on the marketing side, of the business and handling a lot of the marketing for some clients, has done just that. She was struggling to get in at a larger agency, focusing on areas she wanted to get into. She couldn't get it. She comes and interns with us. Now she's got agency level experience and agency level knowledge. And what did she do? She went back out. She started applying, and she eventually landed a much better position at an agency focused in the areas that she wanted to be focused in, doing basically what she wanted to be doing. So 100%, it doesn't always have to be VAs have to be paid. It doesn't have to be a financial end of it. There is a contribution, right? It's not always financial, but there is a contribution. There will be some time that you'll spend, energy, right? Knowledge dump of yourself and other individuals into that. But trust me, it will be worth it. I don't think, I'm just going to throw this out right now, but I don't think we're at the level that we're at today in the short window that TRC's been around, doing the stuff that it's doing with the opportunities in front of it that it has, if you and I didn't immediately start looking at getting tasks out off of our plate into the hands of other people who are just as good and sometimes even better than what you and I could be doing.
Exactly.
So with that being said, folks, taking it back here, going real deep into just the digital side of things. It's been ticking across the bottom of the screen this whole entire time. If you're not quite sure what are all the steps that go into building this presence and how do I execute on them, great training for you. If you already know them, this training is also really good to help kind of break it down even deeper to where you might notice, step 2, I understood that, but there's a lot more that goes into step 2. Let me outsource a lot of that stuff to help me speed this process up. So if you're looking at trying to get that website, your online presence, your digital footprint to the top, right? Make it be an asset, not a liability or something dead in your business. Head over to topresultsconsulting.com/7 steps to get our quick mini course, detailed breakdown of the exact 7 steps we take every one of our clients through, everything that we've done. That is the first 7 elements to it. And as we say every single week, unless Roger's got something else he wants to leave you with, any words of wisdom or anything?
We're good. We're good.
Perfect.
Show up next week. We got another one coming up next week. So
something tells me he's going to get back in the shower and find another inspirational moment.
I will. All
right. Well, with that, folks, as we say every single week, until we see you back here live on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, or out there in the virtual space, YouTube, podcast players, or over on our website, here's to your success. We'll see you guys later.